Auburn wants a top 10 class, currently sitting at number 11, but the Tigers are battling. And in this video, we're going to run down a few of their top targets and find out where Auburn stands with some of their best targets on the board. We're also, we're going to talk Juju Lewis in this video. I got Jeffrey Lee from Auburn Live. We're going to break it all down. But first, Auburn fans, do me a favor and hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel, the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. All right, let's bring in Jeffrey Lee from Auburn Live. All right, Jeffrey, we got big names on the board here, and why not just start with the biggest name of them all, quarterback Julian Lewis. Let's talk about him right off the top. Now, he's committed to USC, but he took June visits to Auburn, Colorado, as well as USC, the school he's committed to. Where do you think things stand right now as we're in the dead period between Julian Lewis and Auburn?
I think they would like him to make a decision sooner than later.
Right.
Quarterback absolutely is a position of need in this 2025 class for Auburn. And I think they're having a little trouble with the wide receiver recruiting as well. When you look at Auburn's one of the few schools that doesn't have a quarterback committed. So I think they would like to get somebody in the boat. I think they would like to get Julian Lewis in the boat. I think it would help out with some of those wide receivers like Caleb Cunningham. So I think Auburn would push for, Juju to either make a decision. In this day and age, it's a commitment. It's not good enough anymore when you take official visits. Yeah. You got to make another commitment or a reaffirmation. So I think Auburn is to the point where it's like, we need to know, do we need to move on? Are you going to make a decision? Because we need to get a quarterback committed in this class.
I kind of get that sense from all three sides of this thing. USC wants to know, hey, Juju, are you in or out? We've got to build this class around you. Sure. Colorado, they're in a very similar position. They need a quarterback in this class. They need to know. And Auburn, you just laid it out there. So what are you hearing from Auburn's point of view? I asked Scott Schrader, the USC side, recently, but is there a sense that Auburn expects him to make some sort of announcement? And do we know July, August? What do you think?
I think the expectation is, yes, before the season starts, before the summer is over, they would like to know one way or the other. I don't know if there's been talk about that one way or, let us know. But I do think there is expectations for him to let them know one way or the other, do we move on or are you coming?
All right. Offensive tackle Andrew Babalola. Now, this has been heavily kind of trending in Stanford's direction, but you have Auburn and you have Michigan trying to swipe him or keep him away from Stanford. What are we hearing coming out of this June visit to Auburn?
Auburn's definitely in the mix here, and I don't know that it's any more than that right now. Michigan obviously is probably Stanford. It was Auburn and Stanford for a while. Right. Michigan has since made up a lot of ground there. They're absolutely to be respected in this recruitment. Auburn is too. I understand, they're probably not up there like they were before. There's been a lot of time since his official visit. I think getting him back on campus, maybe the last weekend in July, would go a long ways for Auburn and trying to get back in there for him. I think Stanford's going to be tough. I think Michigan's right there too. And I think Oklahoma is in there to some extent as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on and talk about edge Jared Smith. Now, I think he's going to come off the board in July, maybe fairly soon. Where do you think Auburn stands with him?
I think Auburn is steadily climbing up the board for him. I don't know how much of a priority he was early spring. There were others on the board, Isaiah Gibson, Zion Grady. So I don't know that Auburn was pushing as much for him before as they are now. Zion Grady since is committed to Ohio State. Isaiah Gibson flipped his commitment from USC to Georgia. So he's kind of next up on the board right now. He was in Auburn several times already this summer, I guess late spring, early summer. He was there with his school for the 7-on-7, and he took an official visit to Florida State early last week, but before he went, he made a surprise visit down to Auburn. So I think you're seeing mutual rising interest there, and I think he is near or at the top of Auburn's edge board. He's pretty now. He looks good on the hoof. So I expect him to take. I think he's coming back for Big Cat the end of July.
Okay,
and then he's going to take an official visit in the fall. Now, will he have a decision before then? Maybe, maybe not. But I think if he was going to make a decision in July before this Auburn push, he may pause and delay that to see kind of where Auburn fits into his recruitment. I know South Carolina, some of these other SEC schools were in there early for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Auburn's got some ground to make up, but from what I'm told, they're steadily climbing there.
All right, running back Usman Chroma. Now, this has been an intriguing recruitment because I'd say back in February, March, it looked like all FSU. Then Auburn and Georgia get involved. Now, Georgia might, they've been adding running backs, but Auburn's still surging there. What do you make of this race for Chroma?
Very interesting, and you don't see a lot out there about Chroma. He's not tearing up the camp circuit with interviews and stuff. So information for him is mostly gained behind the scenes. I do think Georgia's absolutely in this race. I do think Florida State absolutely is in this race. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say, Josh. Now, I wouldn't have said this 4 months ago, but I really think this recruitment right now is Auburn, Georgia. I do think Florida State, they're right there too. So don't let me discount them at all. But I do think as of today, I think it's an Auburn, Georgia battle, and FSU's waiting to see if one of those schools slips up.
Yeah. All right. Now, Anquan Fegan's the number 4 ranked player in the state of Alabama from Alabaster, Alabama. He's going to probably make his decision sometime in July. How do you see this one shaking out?
July 29th.
Yep.
So Fegan's, I believe, is actually the way you pronounce it, but I'm not very good at pronouncing names. So, but Fegan's is he's set for July 29th. I think he's narrowed it down to Auburn, Clemson, LSU, Georgia. But I really like Auburn here. I have for him for a long time now. I think that the relationship he has with Charles Kelly, the relationship that his family has with Charles Kelly is big for Auburn here. They also just took his brother, Traquan, as a preferred walk-on from the transfer portal. So I think that was kind of the writing on the wall there. That was the last, as soon as I saw that, I felt even better about my prediction for Fegan's to Auburn. But he's coming to Big Cat on July 27th with a scheduled announcement date of July the 29th. So everything, you get those tea leaves and you mix them around, you line them up, and everything looks very good for Auburn with new boy Fegan's. Josh, that's what he goes by. New boy.
New boy. Okay. I'll write that down. I got it.
Yeah, right there.
All right, Jeff, anybody else Auburn fans should be keeping an eye on as we're kind of in July decision territory?
Commitment season is, Auburn hopes decommitment season is over with now that Carday Smith decommitted, Tyler Lockhart decommitted. I think there might be one more, but I don't know when. So I don't we see this every year. Early commitments fall off, summer, early fall. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one more. However, they hope that was over with and commitment season has begun for them. July is typically a big commitment month. Auburn's got 2 guys we're going to be keeping a close eye on over the next week. July the 4th is Hollis Davidson, the 3-star tight end from Peachtree City, Georgia, who he was committed to Auburn in February. He decommitted, I think, in May. And at the time, he told them, listen, I want to take some other visits, and I don't want to do that while I'm committed to you. I don't like the way that looks. I don't like the way doing that. I don't like doing that to you. I want to take a couple of official visits, and then I want to make a decision. And he did. He visited Florida. He visited Florida State, and now he's set a decision for July the 4th. And oddly enough, I expect him to recommit to Auburn. So that's one for July the 4th. Another one is July the 6th with Jacoby Ward, 3-star interior offensive lineman from Savannah, who is Herbert Scroggins' teammate there at Calgary School in Savannah. Third was all Auburn until he took an official visit to Miami, and then this past week he committed to the Hurricanes over Auburn. But I do think Auburn is in a very good spot to get his teammate Jacoby Ward, who will be committing July the 6th. And then after that, Josh, so I'm looking at Hollis Davidson on July the 4th, Jacoby Ward on July the 6th, and then we're looking at that Big Cat weekend at the end of July, where several guys I expect to make a commitment. Blake Woodby is a guy I'm keeping an eye on for that. Obviously, new boy Fegan's on July the 29th. And then keep an eye out on some 2026 guys like Jermichael Garrett, who will have a commitment that end of the month. Hezekiah Harris is another.
All right, there you go, Auburn fans. Tap in. Let us know. Comment section below. Who do you think is going to be the next to commit to Auburn? And also, Let us know how you feeling about Julian Lewis coming out of this June official visit month. Let us know. Comment section below.